What's up, guys? Welcome to Remax episode 31. I finally remembered to press the record button. Life is good. This week it's going to be a shorter show because nothing happened at all in the StarCraft community besides a few tournaments and qualifiers. So very few news until today, actually. There's a few things that were added that we're going to talk later on. Also, Reddit, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, Morrow, or HuK, get on Reddit, ask your questions now. Also, go upvote the questions that you want us to ask. We'll also have the Patreon call-ins later on. So let's get to it. HuK, how have you been and what have you been up to?
Been horrible.
All right.
Ever since I lost in WCS, my life has been horrible.
Oh.
Teaches you not to fail in life, kids, or you'll feel shitty. I got sick about like 5-6 days ago, and then I was obligated. Well, like I already committed to going to Utah for like a show match / meeting, and it had been like a month prior, so I'd feel really bad about canceling the last minute. So I went anyways, but being like really sick and then having to like take like 6 to 10 hour flights and being somewhere you're not comfortable with is like really painful. So been back like 2 or 3 days recovering from the sickness, and then hopefully when I'm done I can get back on track playing StarCraft 2 and exercising and all that healthy stuff.
Yeah. Also, you went to Utah last weekend?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who did you play?
Xenocider.
Did you... Oh, that's what happened. I saw the
Yeah.
tweets. How
Yeah.
did the games go?
Yeah, that was okay. The setups weren't like anything great, but overall it was really fun.
Okay.
So
What was the result?
he won like 4-3 or 4-2.
Okay, we'll blame it on Wintermines. It's okay. What about you, Mo? How have you been?
I've been doing okay actually.
Yeah?
For me, losing my group, it was kind of expected, I guess, by many. So I don't have to be super emo. I have been a little bit sick though, so eating candy, watching movies, chilling. But I've also streamed a little,
I see.
so not much in other words.
You shaved your head as well, right?
Yeah, I did. It was time, man. It was getting too long.
Yeah, of course. You gotta keep the fact that you're a ginger undercover, man. It's all about first impressions.
They mustn't know.
Personally, I had a tournament in my backyard, LAN ETS, which Massa won without dropping a map. He beat EJK in the final. I lost to EJK and Bales. The organization was terrible. They made us start an hour earlier, so we got there. We got there at 9. Started playing at 9. Then we had like a 2-hour food break. Then for an hour and a half, they couldn't figure out how to make the bracket work because the seating was messed up. So 3.5 hour of delay. I finished top 6. I only made $100. My life was terrible. Morrow hosted me, so I had great viewership. And for the first time in a very long time, because it's been like 7 years that I go there at that tournament. It's the biggest one on the East Coast. I stayed for the stage presence or prizes, you know, like the drawings or whatever. And I got the $100 case. Now, my case that I have is a full tower. And the fucking whole weekend, I'm so done with this case. It's so heavy. Like, I'm a fucking nerd. I can't lift. And then, the case I win is another fucking full tower. So I'd like to carry all this shit back home. That was a little bit annoying. Other than that, life has been good. And HuK doesn't seem amused at all. Are you okay?
What? I was watching a Gordon Ramsay video while you talk.
Jesus Christ. You're like,
I
where's
was
that?
watching. It's funny as shit. It's like a spoof video.
Yeah?
I'll link you. So
All
you can
right.
watch it later.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, let's get to it. We're gonna start with IEM World Championship. It's happening on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in Poland and Katowice. At this point, I'm giving up. The talent lineup is what we're gonna talk about first, and then we'll talk about the players. So, you know, you want to get the unimportant stuff out of the way first. So the talent lineup is very surprising. I'm not a biggest fan of Frodan being there at the analysis. You wanna say it for me?
I don't know what it. What's
Analysis.
Analysis.
Analysis desk.
Analysis. There you go.
So I'm not a big.
I wasn't sure if it was analytical or analysis or what kind of word you were trying to say
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So anyway, Froden's gonna be there. I mean, he's a smart person and he speaks well. But it feels like he's gonna be like the host of the desk sort of thing. Snoot being there is the biggest surprise, right?
Yeah, I mean, Frodan's definitely gonna be like the host. He's not gonna be doing like fucking analysis. I think he hasn't touched StarCraft in a really long time besides hosting at WCS. But as far as like in-depth stuff, I mean, he's a great host, so I think the move for Frodan to be there is not bad at all. As long as he doesn't do actual analysis. But yeah, Snoop being there is like really cool for any Zerg players, or I mean, general StarCraft 2 fans as well. He's a smart guy. Sometimes I don't think he's enthusiastic enough, but that's just like his personality. He's kind of like shy and, you know, a little bit more reserved. But as far as like what he has to say, it's going to be like pretty top quality stuff, I would imagine.
You gotta like link this shit when you bring it up. I only found like the bracket.
It's
it's in the Google Doc, man.
Here, I'll link it.
Oh,
in
really?
chat. Everything we talk about is in the Google Doc, Morrow.
Oh, I see. Right over there.
Yeah.
So Maynard as well.
Yes. Maynard is gonna be nice. That's gonna be nice that he's gonna be there. We jerked him off last time, but
I'm really happy that they
So
gave
these
him a
guys are
shot.
the casters or just whatever?
Well, I mean, I don't think they identify it. Let me take a look. But I could go through the list and tell you all the likely positions are going to be. Like, Frodan is for sure going
it
to be
says
like
at the top
host.
of the thing.
Yeah, but it says analysis desk for Frodan, but he's not going to be doing. It's just going to be he's hosting it. You know, so it'll be like him. Jeff will actually probably be doing analysis. So will Rotterdam and Snoot. It's kind of weird just because they have a few hosts there. I feel like Jeff does like a pretty good job of hosting as well. And then Rotterdam is like more of a caster / host than someone that would do really good analysis desk. And then Snoot would be like one of the strong people for the analysis desk. So I really like him there, but kind of feels like they're overlapping a little bit
Yeah.
with Frodan, Jeff, and Rotterdam all being on the analysis desk. And then, yeah, the commentators are okay.
Would you have added someone like the Muslim for the analysis desk?
I would have one host, and then I would have 3
Players?
yeah, like ex-pro players are really high skilled. Yeah.
So
'cause I
does,
feel like
does Jeff fit that role then?
he fits the role, but I feel like a pro player would be better. Like for me,
Like Todd?
not every pro player can be a caster because it's really hard to be a caster without having either speaking English without an accent or having one of the better accents. And the better accents are obviously like the English accent, like Paulo and Caleres have, and to a lesser degree, like a very weak accent, like Todd might have. But as far as analysis, like I think a lot of pro players would be really good at it as long as they speak English decently, even if they have a strong accent like Snoop does.
All right. We're going to move on from that. Also, Lil Susie's going to be translating in Funka. I guess they weren't good enough to have their pictures listed over there. RIP.
I want to say I'm excited to see Maynard go to that event because I only saw him cast once and it seemed to be pretty good. So it's nice to see them give him another try.
Biggest thing is he just has passion for the game. He actually
he seems to like
excited.
it.
Yeah, like he actually gives a shit, which is such a weird thing to say, but you don't realize it hearing the casters we see 90% of the time. But I remember same thing as you. I was watching IEM Taipei, and he came on, and he was actually like very enthusiastic. Was like excited when he's casting games, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? We haven't seen this in like 2 or 3 years. Like no one casts like that. Yeah,
I'm
like, oh
it gets
shit.
me excited as well. So it's really nice to see. It's very refreshing.
Yes, I agree. I'm really happy. I'm probably happiest about him being there out of the casters, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, Apollo is always like such a good caster, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, the thing is...
Of course, he's going to be there.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the game is getting kind of old, so obviously new talent's always more excited to have to prove themselves and be there than the old dogs like Apollo.
I'm not even sure if it's about that. I just think I think he actually enjoys the game more, gives a shit more. Like Apollo has his job, Claris has his job. They both already work for ESL. Todd's pretty secure. You know, like all the normal casters, they're already in the scene. They know they're gonna get a bunch of jobs. It's like they don't have to work for it, and they've casted so many games. They don't have the passion. You know, it's a job to them. Maynard, he's like excited to fucking be there. He's excited to cast the games. He's happy. You know, I
Yeah.
just I don't see that from the other casters.
But it's like understandable. After casting for so many years, it must be so hard to like still be excited for everything because these guys, they cast like maybe one tournament every month. So it must be hard to, be excited for every game and so on.
Yep, that I agree with that. Let's move to the bracket. The players. We have. This is as stacked as BlizzCon. This is. Of course, we talked about it when I think not about BlizzCon, but I think it was about Red Bull DC. Like, if someone qualifies really early in the year, do they still deserve their spot? And I guess we could go back to like the earliest, which was Shenzhen. The earliest IEM qualifier, quote unquote qualifier, was Shenzhen, and it was Teja and Solar. Solar has been in a slump, so that would be like the only player really that you could call out for.
I would say Teja has been too. Not so much in a slump, but he hasn't been playing in any major tournament for a long time, or if he has, he's dropped out. I think he like failed or dropped out of GSL and SSL very early on as well.
And then Flash has been on a big slump as well, winning Toronto.
Hey, don't talk shit about Flash. Flash won
Whoa!
his last pro league game, alright?
Pro
He's
leg.
back.
Yeah. Well.
He's gonna win, man.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like the way you worded it is very poor. I don't
Yeah.
think it's so much about who they deserve it. They earned the spots. They got it. It's just it's really hard to have events that lead up to other events and then
Still have the best players there.
yeah, exactly, because StarCraft 2 changes so quickly as far as like before my WCS match, I was considered like the favorite for my group, and everybody was like, "Yeah, HuK's been doing really well lately." Lost my WCS group, lost the show match to Peely Peely, and everybody's like, "Yeah, HuK's really fallen off lately. I don't know what happened." And it's like a difference of like 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks matter a lot, especially in the opinions of the general public. So
Okay.
it's just hard to get past that.
So through the online qualifiers, we had Trap, Patience, Byung, Innovation, Fantasy, Cure, Dark, and Hydra, and they made the bracket for us. It's a round of 16 bracket, best of 5. So we're just gonna go down every matchup, just talk favorite, and then maybe like the favorite series at the end. So we have Hero versus Cure. Cure's just been a monster in terms of Terran play, multitasking. Splitting up his army, and then Hero always had a very strong PVT, but is it good enough to beat Cure in his current form, Morrow? What do you think?
I think Cure is the favorite for that series. Cure has just been, he's like one of the absolute best Tyrants right now, and I'm not kidding. He's very underrated. I would put him up at the same level as someone like Innovation, So I think Cure is the favorite there.
Well, it seems like Hero's matchup, PVT is his best, or his second best, I would say. HuK, do you have any opinion about Hero's PVT?
I mean, saying it's his second best, there's only fucking 3 matchups. It's not really like a big deal. Like, oh my god, it's his second best. It's not like he has 20 choices and that's the second one. It's like the middle ground, I guess. He's just I think Hero's like an amazing player. It really depends if he practices for the tournament because he has a lot going on right now. He's also in what's that other one? GSL or SSL. He's pretty far in. So
GSL.
It depends. I think he's really, really good, but I think he's very dependent on doing specific builds. If he plays too general, I think Cure could beat him if he prepares more for the tournament. So it's going to be really interesting because usually when you go to IEMs, it's like you start out in a group stage or you not really sure where you're going to place in the tournament. You might be playing open bracket or whatever. But now they actually have a lot of time to prepare for the round of 16, round of 8, even round of 4, and look up who they're going to play and, So, I mean, there's so much money on the line. I assume we're going to see like a lot of really interesting builds and unique things, hopefully at least.
Next up, we have Byung versus Solar. I think this one's like a very obvious one. Like, how can Solar win when he's been slumping so hard? I'm gonna pull up his. Actually, he's still top 10 on Aligulac, so maybe that's my perception of him that's bad. But in his latest match, he's lost to Lucera, he's lost to Parting, he's lost to Cure, he's lost to Sky High. He's beaten Cure, he's beating Rogue, Dream, and Panic. But have you seen Solar play lately, Mo?
No, I haven't seen Solar play in forever. That's mostly just because I haven't really watched too many games lately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say Byung is the favorite. That's my guess anyway, because Byung is like is really intelligent, and I think he's straight up a better player than Solar. So he gets to like prepare for this series as well. And I think Byung is just the perfect kind of player to prepare for something like a best of 5.
Okay. Next up, HuK, Zest versus Hydra. Do you think Zest is still very good?
I think, yeah. I think Zest is the favorite. Although I'm impressed with Hydra lately, and I think PvZ is really hard for Protoss. In general, it's like, once again, it's going back to the same point I had before. In general, Protoss can beat Zergs on a regular basis as long as they add something to their build order or what they do, and it's unique, and the Zerg doesn't expect it. You know, like if they do like a weird transition, or they feint like pressure and they pull back and actually take like a really quick, smart third base without the Zerg noticing it, or they do like, I don't know, like something, there has to be a little, like one unique thing that Zerg doesn't read, and then Protoss has an advantage. And if they just play really standard and Zerg knows what they're doing, then Zerg has the advantage. And I feel like in this format and Zest playing against Hydra, Zest is favored in all those ways.
It's pretty crazy how Innovation versus Life is around a 16 match. That's something that we could see like at the end of GSL or round of 8 or semi-finals. But I guess when you have a really stacked tournament like this, it's bound to happen. Morrow, do you think Innovation is what it takes to... I mean, Life was doing like really well, but then again he lost to Dream 4-3, so...
Didn't these guys just play against each other? Life played against some amazing Terran just now.
Well, he lost
Let
to
me see
Dream,
here.
but he might have beaten...
Yeah, he played against the Innovation.
And
He won
GSL?
3-2 in GSL round of 8.
Oh.
I'm
But
not
3-2...
sure what,
Yeah, 3-2
yeah,
is still
very
very
dis-
close. Yeah.
yeah, very close. So again, like this series, very close.
Yeah.
Very tough to call. I would say like these guys are like the best at this matchup right now. Or like in general, Larif is probably the best player in the world, and Innovation right now probably the best Terran in the world. So that game, these matches is going to be absolutely amazing. The best out of round of 16 for sure.
I can see that. So, HuK, what's your take on PVT? And do you think Trap can beat Flash?
Yeah, I think Trap can beat Flash. Flash has like had a little bit of a resurgence lately, just because he's won like a couple Pro League games. But as far as what I remember from Trap, he's like very tricky. He does a lot of weird stuff, weird compositions, weird build orders, a lot of proxy stuff. And Flash is still, even in his Pro League games, pretty standard. So, I mean, it comes down to, once again, like, this whole tournament obviously is insanely stacked, but if I was Trapped or Flash, I would be happy about who I got. Both of them are probably two of the weaker players in the whole tournament, I would say, compared to, like, you know, yeah, like, look
What
at,
about
like,
Patience?
Patience was like, yeah, I was very surprised when he qualified. I was like, that was the most surprising qualifier. But I don't know. I think I would favor Patience over Trap or Flash, just because he's on the up and up, you know? He's like obviously been in Korea for a little bit, and now he's getting a lot better. He beat a lot of good players in the qualifier. So, you know, where Flash it's kind of like, he did well last year, and then he's been really shaky, and now recently he won 2 Pro League games, but I wouldn't necessarily say that he's like, you know, amazing all of a sudden. even though I'm sure Morrow wants to vouch for him. But and then same thing with Trap. Trap did like really well at MLG. He's won like qualifiers and stuff. But other than that, he's been missing for a while. So yeah,
I think the next match has so much storyline behind it. Even though like it's really hard for us to identify with Fantasy and Rain because you know they're Korean and there's not much exposure given to the team house environment in Korea. But these guys were on the same team for so long, and now they're both on different European teams, which are also rivals. Dead Pixel and My Insanity. Some of the management used to be on the same boat, and that you know the rats left the boat, and then now we have two boats, and then I don't know. I feels like Fantasy's the weaker player, but then Rain. What do you think, Huck? Do you think Rain can do this? Is it the
I think
favorite?
Rain's. I think Rain's the favorite. Fantasy. I don't know what he's been doing lately. To be honest,
Didn't
besides
he
qualifying
go?
for this.
Yeah, didn't he go to Europe to qualify for this?
Yeah. So it was like really impressive when he qualified because he beat a lot of good players. But then I heard he was in Europe, and that's obviously a huge advantage from playing to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Maro?
Oh, yeah, I think Fantasy is like he's not been impressing me for like the last year or something. So and you know, Rain is Rain. You can always expect
Good
very
things.
consistent play out of him. I
Yeah.
think. So I would say like Rain is perfect to play against someone like Fantasy because Fantasy is the kind of guy who's really aggressive and you know tries to find hole in the opponent's defense, get in when with his harass and so on. And Rain is just super safe, super solid. So just play styles alone, I would put Rain as the favorite. But also I think Rain is just a better player. So I don't think that match is going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rain's favorite too. I don't think either of these players, like this is another weaker matchup. I don't see either of them winning the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say Rain's a pretty strong favorite in this matchup.
Oh, speaking of winning this tournament, Morrow playing versus Patience. If Patience can do it, that's going to be such a big storyline. But like, there's no way Morrow can drop this to Patience. Morrow is just. I think it's really time for Morrow to step it up and win a big tournament like this. You know, he's been coming up for so long. He's been always doing well, but never like always coming close of you know achieving great things and.
At the same time, well, Maru's been doing really well, so I wouldn't say he hasn't achieved as much as I think he should have. But at the same time, what's really weird is Maru literally just played in what like GSL, SSL, qualified for this or whatever, and he has like a lot of games that Patience can study. And as far as I know, besides this qualifier, Patience hasn't done anything since DreamHack.
Mm-hmm.
So Maru's the type of player, like he lost a lot of free games to DTs from parting, I want to say. I can't remember, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So just like the one advantage, like I obviously agree Maru's the favorite, but Patience does have a really big advantage in the fact that he has like nothing public VODs or replays or anything of himself unless they pulled it from ladder. And then Morrow has like tons of PvT games of himself out there that Patience could easily study or make like game plans, you know, to abuse certain holes in his game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those
The
brackets.
thing about
Go ahead, sorry.
excuse me. The thing about Morrow is that his play is like it's not very. The way he plays is like not very solid, but at the same time he can play in so many different ways. So I think preparing for someone like Morrow is super difficult. I think he's a kind of player that's kind of impossible to snipe, but you can get lucky against him. And if you're an underdog, you would probably prefer to face Morrow over someone like Innovation because again, like Morrow, he coin flips, he dies to DTs, he proxy barracks, he does that kind of stuff. So I do see like a scenario where Patience actually beats Morrow, but he would have to for sure get lucky if he wants to do that.
And our final match, Dark versus Teja. Dark qualified for it. I wonder if it was through Korean qualifier, probably. And then playing versus Teja. Teja who won Shenzhen versus Solar. Morrow. Have you seen Teja recently? I don't think anyone has, right?
No, I haven't seen him in forever. I'm looking up some of his like game this year.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just been
Kung
missing.
Fu Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think Dark's gonna smash him.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think Dark has been playing better. He's been playing in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And Taja is like the same thing. He doesn't have a lot of info out there on him, but he hasn't been playing well. He hasn't been qualifying for GSL or SSL. He's been doing like mediocre and online stuff. He's just been missing. And you never know how much Taja's practicing. He's the guy that, goes to the TL house in the Netherlands and plays LOL, for like a month before a tournament, wins the tournament, but didn't practice at all. And I just think it's starting to catch up with him as far as not practicing. And I would say Dark's like a very strong favorite in this matchup.
Dark is just super, super strong. But the thing about Taja is that he kind of just shows up and delivers. Like every time I always underestimate Taja. Like, oh, finally this time is actually gonna lose, and then he just keeps on winning every time. So
Yeah.
for me, it's very hard to predict how Taja is gonna do in a tournament. I always seem to be wrong.
Yeah, me too. I love to root against Staja, but it never works out for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I always root against him either. Maybe it's just because it's on liquid, but
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like those that win too often, I'm like, fuck you, I want you to burn. But they just never do. So yeah, guys, that wraps up IEM. Most of the matches will be like if you're American, good luck, because every match starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 if you're on the West Coast. For Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The final is on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. CET. So that's going to be fun to watch. Really excited for those matches. The winner will earn himself $68,000. Chris, any comments?
I'm sad I won't be competing for that money. Even if I was at the tournament,
Yeah.
it would be sad to know that I would never get it.
Oh, rip. Yeah.
I would love $68,000, but just I had my chance at MLG Orlando. I won $5,000. That's all I have.
Oh, fucking Sundance, man. Let's lynch him. All right. Next up, guys, we're going to be talking about Star League, the SSL, the semifinals, and then talking a little bit about the finals. It's going to be the first TVT final in a while. The last one was Red Bull DC, I think. Not entirely sure, but semifinals and finals. So freaking Dream beating Life 4-3, and then Morrow eating Stats Alive 4-2. HuK, did you watch Morrow's stats? Because I know you watch every game.
Yeah, I watched it, but I blazed through it. It was pretty boring, I think, the matchup.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did you think? Why did Stats lose?
I don't know. I don't even remember the games. Pretty sure Morrow just outplayed him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, there was nothing recognizable about the games. It was like I watched them and I was just like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Morrow just played better. I don't think they did anything too crazy on either side.
Okay.
that's like the exact kind of games that I love to watch.
Really?
Like,
Why?
those are the games I remember when it's absolutely standard, no bullshit, no shenanigans to screws up the early game, and
For
I
me,
love to just see straight up fights.
For me, it's like I watch games to study and pick up things that are useful. So if I watch a game, I'm like, oh, okay, he just goes blink, he's getting Colossus, Morrow dropped in 2 different places, Stats misplaced his units, and he's dead. Then it's like, okay, next game, and there's nothing for me to learn besides okay, he fucked up, he lost,
Yeah. Well, I think.
Yeah, but as a Tyron, I can learn a lot from that, seeing how do these Tyron players win when the game starts out standard, because that's usually my biggest problem in TVP, is that I lose whenever the game is just looking extremely normal, and usually I win when it's pretty special. So to see them oh, is he gonna SCV pull? Is he gonna go for mass drops? How much does he scan for observers? How is his late game and so on, to know, kind of see how they approach the game past early game, because most games in StarCraft 2 feels like they end in early game. And it's all let's say he defends a Dark Templar rush and then he just kind of wins the game. Like those are the kind of games that I just hate watching because I learn absolutely nothing from it. Whereas in standard games, it's like the best part for me because that's what I'm striving for when I'm playing myself is to get into that standard game and try to outplay my opponent. So I can see stuff like how does he fly with his medevacs? What kind of timing attack does he do? And does he win the game? Does he lose the game? Do these tyrants, have confidence in late game, or do they just
I
want to finish the game and so on? It's like very educational for me, at least.
I think that goes back to the different objectives of the races though too. Like Protoss, it's up to Protoss to kind of do something a little tricky or add a little something to their play. And then for Terran, you want to play like very safe, consistent, get into the mid game, do the damage you need to do, and then finish the game. So for you, it's like very informative to say like, okay, at this time he does one medevac here and then another one here, or he splits his units this way, or he attacks that way. For me as a Protoss player, it's like you know, seeing that it's like, okay, well, there's nothing to learn from that. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
The thing about like for Protoss, there's always like there's so many builds that you have that you always like you're looking for new inspiration and new build orders
Yeah.
and new ways to like try to get advantages and so on and see like the transitions from the different kind of timings that you do and so
Yeah.
on. So it's the same when I talk to other Protoss players that they want to see something they haven't seen before. Whereas
Yeah.
with Terran, I like myself, I'm looking for the standard games because they're pretty rare in my opinion. PvP.
Yeah, that's
Like, it
very
makes me so
interesting.
sad seeing Morrow like gas first and go gas first again and die 0-2. Like, oh, why did you just play standard?
That's very interesting, actually. I didn't know you Terran players learn like that. So, thank you, Maul, for sharing your learning knowledge or routine. But yeah, Dream beating Life 4-3. Was there anything interesting in those? Well, obviously there was a lot of interesting things in that series. But anything standing out to you, Maul?
I haven't seen the game to be honest.
Okay,
Like,
that's
yeah, but not me watch. I wanna watch it though. I will definitely watch it
yeah. Plus, it's free on
sometime.
YouTube, guys. If a lot of people always ask me about this, I'm like, Jesus. You just go on Wikipedia, you click on the little info button, and then you have all the little TVs at the bottom, and you can click to see the series. Now, if we're talking about GSL, they're that doesn't work because all the series you have to pay. They're behind a paywall. That's a little bit sad. So speaking of GSL, MMA versus Parting is going to be the first semifinals tomorrow at 5 a.m. or something. Does MMA have a chance versus Parting, HuK?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm gonna just sound like a broken record here, but I think Protoss is weaker than the other two races right now. But more than that, I think it's really, really up to them to like always add something to their play that's unique. And I feel like if they play super standard and there's like, Terran, you can always do a really safe build order and you're safe to like 99% of the builds Protoss can do. Protoss, it's like if you play super standard, there isn't a build that Protoss can do 90% of the games and be on even terms or better than Terran. That's the way I feel. So it's just going to be really up to Parting to do something unique. And Parting's like the master of like having a very wide range of plays that he can do. He can do Blink All In, he can do Oracle, Proxy Oracle, he can take like an early third base, he can like just play very standard, go like Blink Colossus. He can do Double Forge. He can do Fast Storm. Like he has such a very wide range, but at the same time, I think if they go into very normal games, MMA's favored. But I don't see that happening just because of the way Parting plays.
Hmm. And Mo, anything to add to MMA's play?
I hope that Parting doesn't play like he did last time I saw him play was the Homester Cup against Flash in the finals, and he just kept on doing the fucking all-ins over and over and over, like so stupid. I really hope he brings like macro games to this series because I know that Parting he was like one of the originals who started taking third bases quickly, started doing flanking high Templars in late game, and I know that he has it in him to win a straight up game. So I don't know why he's fucking around so often with just doing all-ins. So I hope that he plays like focus on macro play and then maybe does like one all-in. That's what I'm hoping at least. But then again, it's partying. He's probably gonna all-in every game. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got
But who's winning? As far as who's winning, it's hard to say. I would think that partying is the favorite. MMA, it's not really my favorite player, so that's maybe why. MMA, one out of those guys like Teja that I just kind of hope that he loses.
That's good. I like that. I like chaos.
I really like partying, so I hope he wins.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's a little bit weird, but I guess the semifinal is a best of 7, so it makes sense. The next semifinal for GSL is going to be next week. We're going to have Life versus Hero. HuK, any thoughts?
It's just how they divide their time, Both are going to IEM Katowice. They gotta practice for that. They both this is what I was saying before. Like, a lot of the weaker players have shots because these same guys are playing like the Katowice, and then they gotta prepare for GSL or SSL. So, and then Pro League. Like, they have so many games, so much stuff they gotta prepare for. It's hard to plan for like a best of 5, and then plan for another best of 5, and then plan for a Pro League, and then have like individual strategies for all these maps. You don't want to do something like on Catalina that's very unique against Life or at Katowice, and then have to do it a week later against Life. It's just not going to work. Obviously, they're going to watch every game that you played, so it's really, really, really hard to say. Whoever prepares better. I think they're both really good players. Life is the kind of person like where he's going to be aggressive, and he's going to like half the games he's going to get a big advantage from like lean run bys or something, something really stupid. That's what's going to happen, but it just fucking happens anyways, and then it's happening to you in game. And I played against Life before, and you're like, I knew he was going to fucking do this, but it just worked anyways, and you're just like, I don't know, it's just very demotivating. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess I think they're very evenly matched, Life and Hero.
Oh, nice. But yeah, guys, that concludes SSL, GSL, and IEM World Championship coverage. After the break, we're going to talk about the community news. We're going to get the Patreon call-ins, your questions on Reddit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.